This morning, a Hollywood producer has been arrested for a second time, accused of sexual abuse and assault.
We have a man who believed that he could do great harm and yet remain untouchable, and he did for many years.
How long till we get this thing started?
Probably not for a few minutes.
Eric Weinberg, a former TV writer and producer for the hit show Scrubs, Californication, and Politically Incorrect with Bill Maher, was taken into custody at his Los Angeles home. Prosecutors have filed 18 charges accusing the 62-year-old of sexually assaulting 5 women at different times between 2014 and 2019. They say he would target women in grocery stores and coffee shops, posing as a photographer to get women to his home.
The defendant relied on his position of influence to lure young women for photo shoots where he allegedly sexually assaulted them.
Back in July, Weinberg was taken into custody on similar charges. At that time, officials said at least 8 women may have been victimized between 2012 and 2019.
Mr. Weinberg was able to commit his crimes using his power and wealth and privilege.
Weinberg's attorney has said in the past that his client denies any wrongdoing, calling the women's accusations a smear campaign. Authorities believe there are more victims, with possible assaults dating back to the 1990s. Weinberg was released after posting $5 million bail. He's expected back in court later this month.
It's a reprieve for more than 6,500 Americans with federal marijuana possession convictions.
It's already legal in many states, and criminal records for marijuana possession have led to needless barriers to employment, to housing, and educational opportunities.
The president's move to pardon those with federal offenses for simple marijuana possession will also affect thousands of others charged under Washington, D.C.'s local law. He says the convictions represent a failed approach.
While white and black and brown people use marijuana at similar rates, black and brown people are arrested, prosecuted, and convicted at disproportionately higher rates.
Biden is urging governors to do the same for state possession offenses. He also wants his health secretary and attorney general to review how marijuana is classified under federal law, saying it makes no sense that it's a Schedule I drug in the same category as heroin and LSD. Biden's announcement fulfills a campaign promise just 1 month before the midterm elections. Republican Governor Asa Hutchinson of Arkansas reacting to the pardons, saying Biden is simply playing election year politics and sacrificing our national interest to win votes. But Pennsylvania's Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman, a Democrat running for Senate, called the president's move a significant, necessary, and just step to right a wrong and better the lives of millions of Americans. Some activists support the president's plan, but still have questions.
We don't want to embrace it so quickly without knowing all the details in the fine print of what the rollout.
The president is not decriminalizing marijuana possession. Congress would have to do that, and he says laws on trafficking and selling to minors need to stay in place.
This morning, a California city on edge as the urgent search continues for a possible serial killer or killers.
At this time, we don't know if it's a person, 2 or 3. We just don't know.
5 men shot dead in Stockton over the past 3 months, starting in July. Police have released a surveillance photo of a person of interest. Investigators say the killings meet the FBI's definition of a serial killer. 54-year-old Renzo Lopez was one of the victims. He was a musician who sang about violence on the streets of Stockton. This is a recent video. His heartbroken brother says Renzo was homeless but was trying to get his life back together.
It's hard to process that this has happened, you know. I mean, me and my brother have been like twins since we were kids, you know. We're a year apart, so we're pretty close.
All of the victims are mostly Hispanic, men between the ages of 21 and 54. The murders in different locations, but taking place in dark areas late at night or early in the morning. And the victims were all ambushed, but investigators say the killings weren't gang-related or robberies. 35-year-old Paul Alexander Yaw believed to be the first person killed. In a statement, his family says he was a good boy who grew into a good man with a big heart, adding he was always there for you if you needed him.
His mother telling ABC News she's sharing Yaw's photo in hopes it will help solve the cases. Authorities are offering an $85,000 reward for information that will lead them to the killer or killers. Meantime, police are warning people in Stockton to be extra vigilant and to not walk alone.